Hi everyone, FIFA Career Gems here. Thanks for tuning into my channel today and welcome to some upcoming FIFA 19 face scans that we should see added in the next FIFA 19 patch later this week. The patch has gone live today on PC and I fully expect it to go live on consoles in the next couple of days. So I was playing FIFA 19 career mode earlier today and I noticed something had happened to Presnel Kimpembe. He had his normal black legs and arms, but his face had turned into that of a middle-aged man. Resembles something pretty much like myself, greying on the sides and pretty bald on the top, which I found very strange. So I decided to look into this on Twitter. And so FIFA have actually updated their site to include players whose faces will be scanned in the next update. So I set it upon myself to start looking at a few of these, and there you can see Presnel Kimpembe, white face but black arms. The next one I did find was Jean-Michel Seri of Fulham. Again, his black arms and black legs with that same middle-aged man, green-haired face. So what I noticed is that all the players listed on FIFA who are due to have their face scans introduced in the next patch all have this generic middle-aged man's face. And the first one is Marcus Bettinelli. So I'm going to scroll through the Fulham team and just point them out. So Marcus Bettinelli is the first one. Steven Sessegnon is the next. Dennis Adoy also has that middle-aged man face. Joe Bryan was the next one. Maxime Lemarchand, the French left back or centre back. Kevin McDonald, also due to have his face scan introduced in the next patch. Ibrahim Cisse, another player with black legs and black hands, but a beautiful white middle-aged man's face. Stefan Johansson, the Norwegian central midfielder. Face scan should be introduced when the patch goes live. We've already seen Jean-Michel Seri. Tom Kearney. Floyd Ayite, the next player who is due to have his face scan introduced, and Niskens Cabano. But sadly, if it's following this method of the middle-aged green-haired man's face on a player who's going to have a face scan introduced in the next patch, sadly Ryan Sessegnon is not one of them. Hopefully this will be sorted by the time the patch is introduced. So now we move on to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and the first player with that middle-aged man green-haired face is Matt Doherty, so we expect his face scan to be introduced in the patch later this week. The next player we came across to have that face is Wolves captain Connor Cody, so we fully expect his face scan to be introduced when the patch goes live, and likewise with Willy Boly, yet another player with black arms and black legs with that middle-aged white man's face. Morgan Gibbs-White was one I was hoping would be getting a face scan, but doesn't look like it will be going live this week. Romain Saiss, he will be getting a face scan introduced later this week. And obviously the player we're looking out for is Ruben Neves, and as you can see with that middle-aged man's face, he should be getting his face scan later this week. Likewise with his Portuguese teammate João Moutinho. Another player I was hoping would be getting a face scan in the next patch is Adama Traore, but that now doesn't look like it's going to happen. Likewise with Helder Costa, but a player who will be getting a face scan introduced later this week is the striker Leo Bonatini. A player who I have to admit I don't know too much about is Bennett Ashley Seal, another player whose face scan should be introduced later this week. And the final two player from Wolves whose face scans will be added later this week is Ivan Cavaleiro and his Portuguese teammate Diego Jota. So now we move on to the final promoted Premier League team, Cardiff, and their goalkeeper Neil Etheridge is the first player whose face scan we should see later this week. I don't know the reason why, but there doesn't seem to be as many face scans in the next patch introduced for Cardiff City as there is in the other two new promoted Premier League clubs. The next one is the Cardiff captain Shawn Morrison. The next new face scan due to be introduced in the patch is Joe Bennett, the left midfielder. Aaron Gunnarsson already had a face scan. Callen Peterson, the 71 rated central midfielder, due to have a face scan in the next patch. The proud owner of one of the dirtiest tackles I've seen in the Premier League this season, Joe Rolls, he'll get his face scan introduced. Kadeem Harris, the first Cardiff player we'll see with black legs and that middle-aged white man's face. As you can see, there's not as many face scans introduced for Cardiff as the other two teams, as I previously mentioned. Bobby Reid, the striker, face scan due in the next patch. And the final player to have his face scan introduced at Cardiff is Josh Murphy. So that should be quite easy to do. They can just borrow his twin Jacobs from his scan at Newcastle. So these are the players listed on FIFA. Joshua Bahoui from Manchester United, confirmed with the clone head of the middle-aged man. Daniel Arzani from Man City on loan up at Celtic. Matthias Norman from Brighton. Mark Navarro from Watford. Nigerian World Cup defender Leon Balogun from Brighton. For the Brighton player, the Brazilian left-back Bernardo. Newcastle striker Yoshimori Mutu. Juve midfielder Stefano Sturaro. And finally, Marseille utility player Morgan Sanson. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and you can look forward to some of these face scans in the next patch on FIFA 19 career mode. But as always, I want to say a massive thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my YouTube uploads. FCG out.